Peace and love, family. I just want to start the video off with a nice scenic shot for you guys coming in, so you guys could catch that vibe out there. Some of you guys may already on the East Coast be off to work, doing your work thing. You guys on the West Coast probably on your way. So I just wanted to take some time quick to give you guys a quick vibe in the AM. Let you guys see nature a bit. We're way up here. But we still got the views though. Hashtag. Alright. So, good morning. Peace and love to you all. And light in abundance. Today I want to talk about abstaining and fasting. What is this about? Why is it good for you? How do you practice abstaining and fasting? And what are the good things about it? Now, abstaining is not only sexual. Fasting is not only food. So we have to start off with that. Abstaining is not only sexual, fasting is not only food. So your whole life, you've probably been abstaining or fasting for something, even if you wanted to or not. But what does it mean to purposefully do it, right? So right now, I'm in the middle of, I'm doing a 10-day Conquer grape juice fast, right? Just a little something, because I see so many people talking about it, and as a healer, I gotta kind of get the vibe and see what it's like. But you shouldn't be over fasting. So some people over fast, some people over abstaining. It's not natural to do either, right? Now, why is it important to abstain? So first we'll talk sexually, then we'll talk about TV, then we'll talk about all this, because when I say abstaining, I mean the same thing as fasting. So a lot of us, right, we all know about programs by now. Most of the people who follow me have a good idea and notion of programming, how you've been programmed to feel things, you have been programmed to experience certain things, you've been programmed with all these different notions and societal explanations for your sexuality, your being, how you should be acting, all these good things. But there's a certain sense where these things aren't really good for you, right? They're things that you should be getting a part of, but they're not teaching you in the proper way. So abstaining or fasting allows you to get in control of these urges, right? Because a lot of us have these urges that we can't really understand. Like every time we see a woman's nipple, we think of, instead of like the giving life that it has within it, the production of milk, the mammary gland, we look at it as some kind of sexual stimulant. So for the men out there, we have to start to understand that females are far more powerful and far more divine than just to be some kind of sexual tool, right? Because no one wants to be treated like that. And if you're still viewing females like that, you need to go on some abstinence streaks so that you can calm that urge down, right? Because abstaining and fasting is all about getting in control of these emotional connections, getting in control of these things. Like when you fast on food, you start to realize how much you don't really need as much food as you have. Same thing comes with sexual stimulation. When you fast and abstain from sexual stimulation, you start to realize how much you don't really need it. Now, for people who are eating clean, eating organic, eating raw, eating fruitarian, you guys start to understand that your libido drops a little bit. So there's already that understanding that you don't really need it as much. But with that being said, you need to then curb the total addiction, which is viewing the female as an object. Now, females have to do the same thing, because a lot of times men get the bad rep for this, but it's both sides of the coin that are having the problem, right? Females are looking at men as, because they're master manifestors. Like women, before they get cars, they get men with cars, right? So women, you guys are strong in your understanding of things, because you guys can manifest, because you are creation. Because a woman is a creator, right? She creates, so she is the master manifester. She is creation. So anything that she decides in her emotional body allows her to pull things down a lot quicker. But we'll get into that in another day. But I mean, you guys too have a lot of thoughts and philosophies on men that you guys have to abstain from, which make it a skewed object. We're skewing our vision of the other sex. So abstaining makes you pull back and start to really go within and think about what this relationship is, to start to try and draw out the guidelines, right? Because we don't really have guidelines right now. It's a free-for-all, right? So abstaining is one of the most powerful things you can do. Over the last year, I've been on very like long abstinence streaks. But I've also like partaken in sexual pleasure. I can't even lie. But when I do, it's a lot different than before. Like, it's far different once you've gone without. And once you understand that you don't need, when you finally do, you start to look for things more in what you're doing. You start to see a difference in how you go about it and how you actually, like, cherish that moment. It's a lot different than when you're just having it for just whatever, when it's free, when it's up in the air, when getting sexual pleasure is like going down and getting a donut, right? Which you shouldn't be eating anyway, right? Anyway, so that goes with abstinence, because men, we have to get our libido in control. And during your abstinence streak as a male or female, you should be watching positive things about the opposite sex. You should be trying to manifest positivity out of your next partner. So like, I want to be thinking so highly of the other sex. I want to think so highly of the other gender while I'm going on any abstinence streak or anything, so that when it's time for me to finally break abstinence, I bring someone in who's what I've been thinking about, because that's how it works. You're withholding for something better, right? Just like anything in jobs, when you get a job offer, sometimes you turn down job offers because you're waiting for something better, right? All these different things. So abstinence is key to starting to understand how to view all of people as people and stop viewing them as a means to an end, whether it's a sexual end, whether it's a financial end. Abstaining from things. So even if I abstain from friendships, right? If I start spending more time by myself, if I don't go out as much, right? Then I don't see friendships the same anymore. I see friendships as a more of a necessary thing based on the things that I'm feeling and thinking at the time. Because whenever you're by yourself and you're alone and you go within, you start to see where yourself truly is aligning. So you need to make sure that you're willing to then go without friends until you find people that align with that friendship that you are manifesting while you were alone, right? The best thing for people to do is to detach from older friends, spend some time by themselves, and then go look out to find new friends. Because when you stay with older friends, they're just going to try and keep you doing your old self stuff, because they're friends with old you. You can't be new you with friends that are friends with old you, right? Because that's what they expect. That's what a lot of us go through when we start to level up on things. When you stop eating meat, when you stop wanting to drink, when you stop wanting to smoke, when you stop wanting to do all these things, you lose friends in the balance. Because then you see that friends are connected to activities, not connected to conscious movement and forward thinking, right? That's when they say that phrase, your friends and family are frequency. They have to be. Because the more I move up and ascend in my thought process, I see that not everyone's trying to get to that level, right? Once I start eating proper and handling my body right, there's friends and people around me that don't want to handle themselves like that. They want to be going to McDonald's all the time. They want to be doing all this. You got to move away from that. Because what's that it's going to do? It's going to ostracize you, right? Because if they're going to McDonald's and they're like, yo, you want some? You go, no. Then they're going to start talking shit. You're going to get self-conscious. Now, some of us can be like real strong in that moment and whatever. But you shouldn't even be with people who are supporting McDonald's, knowing what that does, right? In a sense. But I'll leave McDonald's alone. They just added the McVegan, so I know that we're going to have a lot more of these vegans going back and going to McDonald's. But don't eat the fries. They put beef flavoring in it, so you're going to be on the off ski. But anyway, now again, back to what I was talking about. So we're going back to fasting and abstaining. So now we're going to talk about fasting from food, right? So we talked about abstaining from sexual activity or fasting from sex, right? Well, let's talk about fasting from food for a little bit. What happens when you fast from food? When you fast from food, you start to understand how little food you actually need. The problem is that we all think we need to eat so much, right? Once you do your first 21-day fast, you realize that when they told you that you have to eat every 2 weeks you die, that's a lie. So the first thing is that you start to mentally understand that your body runs a lot more efficiently on a lot of other things more than just the food you put in your mouth. Now, the food you put in your mouth is nourishment. It does build you, does give you good things, give you nutrients. However, if you go without, you still live, right? You see all these people, you see Buddhists and things like that on like 100 and something day streaks, no eating. You see Brother Air, He's on like, he did like almost like a full year of nothing, just like prana. Now you think about these things, you think about these notions of fasting and like what that does. Now you see that the actual notion of having to eat all the time, having to eat 3 times a day, having that's all false. Your body never gets to recover if it's always digesting. That's why a lot of us are tired, right? If your body's always working to break things down constantly, you're not really getting a rest. When you go to sleep and you wake up, you eat break fast, right? That's what they call it for a reason, because you were fasting overnight. However, the longer you can push that fast out sometimes, the better your body's able to heal. Like a lot of us don't know that the prime times of body healing come between like 9 and 2. So if you're not in bed early and sleeping till like getting that good night's sleep with the sun, you're not really in the prime position for your body to be healing and recovering. Now if you're fasting during those times, that's why you're not supposed to eat after 8. So you see how all these little triggers come in and they try and teach you something, right? But when you fast, you got to know how to fast, properly fast, right? We talked about that in one of my other videos. Fasting properly and breaking down into fasting is good. Now, when you eat well, you don't need to fast as much, right? A lot of people get caught in the hype of fasting. Don't get caught in the hype of fasting, right? If you're eating clean, you're eating proper, things of that nature, you don't really have to fast like that. You can make a fast just only if you feel it. If you want to do something, you can throw a fast in there. But it's always good to know that you could fast. Maybe fast 1 time a year, maybe fast twice a year. Don't be over fasting, right? But do a longer fast, right? When you do this stuff, like I always think about some funny stuff. Like if the world ended tomorrow and I couldn't really get food, at least I know that I could go 21 days without really eating, and I'd be okay while I'm moving and looking for something, right? So for my people who are on those conspiracy theory type notions and things of that nature, you guys should definitely be fasting, right? Because a lot of you guys don't really know where the food's at. So if you can fast, then at least you know you could get from one place to the other, and you could go a few days without eating and not really like losing your mind. Because that's all you start to realize, is a lot of this is all in the mind. With abstaining from sex, with those fasting, all these things are mental blocks. They're not really physical. Your body doesn't actually need so much in order to survive. It's all the mental blocks. And once you start to break down the mental blocks, your body starts to understand its power. The problem is our bodies don't really understand their power because we feed them false narratives all day. We feed it false food. We feed it so much shit that the body doesn't really know exactly what it can do. And the key is to try and retrain the body to understand its true power, to understand its facilities, to understand that it's a self-sustaining organism. It's cells working together. That's how you have to understand these notions and break it down, right? So, like with fasting, abstaining, you should be fasting and abstaining from TV as well. You should be fasting and abstaining from a lot of things, right? Because all these things are things that are programming you. They call it a program. So you gotta start to get down and see what your facility can actually do. What can my body actually do? What's my body actually for? How much am I supposed to be doing these things? What times of the month? Like when you start to abstain, you start to notice that certain times of the month, certain days, I know my days, I know I have 3 days a month where I'm more sexually like in it than other days. I know there's some days in the month where I'm more like hungry than other days. I know there's certain days in the month where I need when I'm more apt to do physical activity than other days. I know days of the week that I'm more when I have more energy to go out and do things. You start to see that like there's a lot more cycles. Like women aren't the only ones who go through cycles. Men go through cycles. However, we don't get in tune with it. Just like a lot of women nowadays aren't really in tune with their true cycles, right? The first thing a woman does when she starts to get an organic diet is she starts to sync up with moon cycles for a period. That's when you start to realize, this is something a little bit bigger than what we think it is. It's just what system you fall under. Now, TV, you gotta remember, TV is giving you these, backing these ideas up. So if you're gonna be doing things, stay away from commercials, stay away from these regular TV shows and things of this nature. Stay away from some of this stuff. Because when you start watching all these different things, they're trying to make you fall into these false narratives. You want to stay tuned with your body. Now, when you're done abstaining, when you're done fasting, you want to introduce things slowly. And when you introduce things slowly, you start to see that not everyone's body can eat all of the same things, right? Like Prince talks about how bananas and stuff make him bloated and things of this nature. But I can eat bananas. But then we made him in a smoothie and he was okay. So then you start to realize how you eat your bananas, how you eat your food sometimes, how you go about these things, all have effects on your body, and you'll never know until you stop eating so much. Because if I eat so much, then everything just affects me. However, if I eat a little bit more slowly, I eat one type of food at a time, I do things like this when I'm building up after a fast, I can start to see, wow, that food gives my body a good pump. That food gives me a lot of energy. That food drains me a bit. Then you start to figure out your diet, the diet that's true to you. Because not everyone has the same diet that they should be living, right? The first thing if you really go into astrology, you see certain signs have certain diets made for their sign, right? And that's even like another breakdown of how you can look at things. But when you look at just organically you, because you're supposed to be spending time understanding you when you're fasting. You're supposed to be spending time understanding you when you're abstaining. You're supposed to be spending time on yourself, right? So it's about self-exploration and experience, right? That's why we're in the third dimension. That's why I can feel. That's why 3D comes with experience and feelings, right? Because I'm supposed to experience these things for myself. So when after I fast, I'm supposed to be experiencing the food again, so I can understand what experience works best for me, right? The problem is you were given a lot of foods and you were told all this information about it, and you didn't really get to tune it into yourself, right? Tune it into how this food makes me feel when I eat it. How does this food represent my body? What does it do? And once you start doing that, then you find out your diet. What is your diet? Not what is a diet that's given to you, not what's a diet that's been already written for you. Now, what is this? What is your diet? What are the things that you're comfortable eating? Do we know that? Do we know as a general population what is good for me? Or do we just go on group consensus, right? We go on these group diet plans. Now, like you see a lot of good diet plans are, again, you stepped in the right, like get you on the right path. You got the B6 diet. You have the alkaline diet. You got the mucus free. You got the raw food diet. You got all these things that are giving you steps. But within those steps, you're supposed to be figuring out what is true to you within these steps. What makes sense once I start doing this and walking this path? What foods start to make sense to me more, right? Now you look at any type of religious book, sacred book, any of these things, all these prophets had very particular foods that they ate. Like every prophet, no matter what book it was, had very particular foods that they ate because they were going through this stuff with their body. They were fasting, then they start eating certain things. For my Islam people, my Muslims, you see like lentils, you see dates. The prophet would eat mostly dates. Like that was like his big thing was dates. Jesus had the bread and wine, but do you think Jesus was really eating bread and drinking wine, knowing all the information we know? I don't think so. But maybe it was grape juice, right? Something like that. But when you think about all these things, regardless, everyone had a specific diet that they were partaking in. Everyone had specific foods that they were getting in. But you don't understand what foods are best for you until you start to fast, until you start to abstain, and then let things in slowly. You'll understand your body and how it works. What are the best things to break it down, right? Abstaining is a powerful thing. Fasting is a powerful thing. However, they're not to be messed with, because is it natural for a man to abstain for like the rest of his life, or a woman? No, it's not natural. Is it natural for you to stop eating all the time? No. Like, no. Is it natural for you to be fasting all the time? No, it's not. So you got to understand that there's a balance. Life is about the balance, 100% about the balance. That's why we get so off skew. That's why like society is the way it is right now, because there was no balance. People are either all the way down here or they're all the way up here. I'm either a Democrat or I'm a Republican, or I'm this or I'm that, right? There's no balance. There's no just like real middle ground. So until we start to observe the middle ground, we can't really get caught up in either side of these things. We can't be over fasting. We can't be over abstaining. We can't be under fasting. We can't be under abstaining. We got to know that there's a middle, right? We got to know there's a middle. And that's what we're trying to find. But the only way to find it is to at least try it. You got to start making the steps to do it. You got to make the steps to understand you. And that comes with experiment, because we're in the third D. We're in 3D. It's about experience, right? Everyone's been experiencing. That's why I hate when people try and use people's past against them. I think that if you had a past where you were doing some weird, or like questionable stuff in the past, you probably are a lot better now because you experienced it and you got the knowledge from it. So now you should be over that. It's if you hold on to things your whole life, as if I've experienced and done something wrong in the past, yet I've been holding it, and redoing this mess up till now, then I know there's an issue. However, third dimension is experience. It's about feeling things out, tasting things, trying things, right? You wouldn't be given all these facilities. You wouldn't be given the senses if you weren't supposed to use them. So you're supposed to be using the senses, right? But you're supposed to have now using them to build knowledge of self, to gain knowledge of truth, right? You're not supposed to just be using them blindly. And that's the crux that we fall into, the ditch. We just think that, oh, it's free love, it's experience, it's everything. No, it's to learn. You're supposed to do things to learn about yourself, to learn who you are, right? You're not supposed to fast because it sounds good. You're supposed to fast to understand yourself. So when you're fasting, you're supposed to be thinking, how much do I need food? What's going on with my diet? What food should I add and take out when I get off my diet? What foods do I notice I have problems with? What foods this? Blah, blah, blah. Look at how good I feel in this fast. Blah, like, what foods will keep me feeling this good? Right? When I'm abstaining, it's like you feel that self-power, right? When people go without because they choose to, you feel that power. Like, I'm not giving this up for no one, blah, blah, blah. Like, when you feel that, then it's like, yo, but who would I? What do they need to be like? What do they need to act like? How do they need to be? See, when you start having these conversations with yourself, you're building knowledge of self because you're figuring out what your true desires are, not what your feelings are and emotions are driving you towards, what your true self is, right? You're shutting off from the illusion. That's why when we talk about meditating, you close your eyes, right? Because the sun is the bringer of the illusion. The sun brings you the light that you see. So when I close my eyes, I shut myself off from the illusion of light, right? So I'm within automatically because there's nothing that can stimulate me. So that's when I find self, right? You find self in meditation, right? Deep meditation, you start to align yourself because I shut off from the illusion that the light is giving me. Same thing with all these different things. When I stop eating so much, I shut off myself from the illusion of taste, from the emotional connection to taste. When I abstain from sex, I shut myself off from the illusion of pleasure. I get to abstain from pleasure and figure out what real pleasure is, right? What does it really mean to be pleasured? What does it mean to be pleased? When I shut myself off from TV, things of this nature, I get to start feeling what real entertainment is, how it is to entertain myself, what entertainment is. These are all crucial questions. These are all crucial things that we need to start to understand. And in your journey to know yourself, on your kundalini, doing all these different things, you gotta peep these games and start to figure it out. You wanna subtract so you can add. You can't just keep adding because then you lose, right? You gotta take away first, right? Like I gotta put money in my bank account before I start spending it. Same thing happens. You gotta subtract and go within and fill it inside before you can push anything outside. The key to manifestation, right? So abstain, fast in all different ways, right? All different ways. Don't just do it because someone said to do it. Find out what's true to you. What's your meaning? How do you go about it, right? All these things will help. These are all tools, right? Don't overdo anything, because remember, all these things were given to you as tools. All these things, whether it's meditation, yoga, fasting, like relationships, sexual pleasure, all these sex, friends, all that stuff, everything was given to you as a tool to teach you about yourself, right? Because what do friends teach you? Friends teach you about yourself, depending on what kind of friends you have. If I got some dirtbag friends, I probably am a dirtbag person, right? Like, I don't know too many great people that just surrounded by dirtbags. And now I'm not saying that anyone is really a dirtbag. I'm not trying to put out that negative frequency out of anyone, but just to peep, just to think. So your friends teach you about you. Everything in this world is to teach you about self. What's the holographic universe like, right? So, with that being said, I hope you guys all have a beautiful day today. For some of you guys that are on here, we'll get a quick view. for you guys to take on your day, for you guys to vibe with. Pull that frequency in for a second. It's beautiful out here, right? It's just wow, right? There's beauty out here. Beautiful. Bring that into your day. Some of you guys might be trapped in an office somewhere. Some of you guys might be doing that. Take in that view and let it charge you up a bit. Be mindful about what you're doing today. Watch what you're eating. Watch what you're paying your mind and your attention to. Because what you pay your attention to becomes your reality, because it's real to you. So, with that being said, I love you all. I love myself. And I just wanted to stop it. I just want to say thank you, right? I'm getting a lot of amazing people contacting me about things. And I just want to thank you guys, right? Just give a general thanks, because it's really a beautiful thing to know that this message is resonating with some people, and some people are putting it into some good use out there. So thank you. Keep working. If you guys need anything, you guys know I'm here. You know where to catch me at. So have a beautiful day, and love and light to you all.